Want to kick off, that's the thing, you're getting that kick off. So from, maybe say from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock is a long time.
And what time do they have to show you their team? At what?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, all right, so you get an hour to work on.
But we don't give them theirs.
Yeah.
We'll get it in. We'll get it in.
Stopwatches. Why do you, what is all this with stop? Does it make any difference? If your stopwatch doesn't tally with the refs at the end of the day?
I tell him.
You tell him. Does he never listen to you? What happens?
No, this is Maxwell watching.
Right.
The strap broke last year.
Uh-huh.
Right. So says to Kathy, I said, look, I'll need to get this strap repaired. So it's just prior to Christmas.
Yeah.
So she goes out, she buys my stopwatch for my Christmas.
Well, very good.
So you're forced to use it. So and of course that Everton game when I get into Graham
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everyone else says, you're 3 seconds out you are. Yeah.
So is it habit now? It's only it's
Yeah,
habit.
but I'm going to go back. But if I get a strap for this, somebody gets me a strap for this,
You'll be back to normal.
and Cathy will give me a stick with a wasted present.
Hat, scarves, t-shirts, flags and all about your souvenirs.
Sir Matt Busby Way. I suppose when you see this, you know you've well and truly arrived in Redland. But you don't have to work for Manchester United to feel the full effects of the red wave that will stream up here on match days.
One of the most famous landmarks, or should I say watering holes on the way to the ground, is here. It's the Trafford pub. Peter Rabbit is the licensee here, the man in charge. Pretty busy come match days, I reckon.
Yes, Eamonn. They come from all over the world. Ireland, Scandinavia,
Yeah.
Belgium.
All good humoured, are they?
Very good humoured.
And very thirsty, more into
and
to
very
the
good
point.
spenders.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Do you ever have any famous faces popping in?
Cantona come in for a coffee one day and
Did he?
a magazine, something he was doing himself.
He wasn't a big spender then.
No. I don't think he paid for the coffee.
So then, come match day, what time do you close at?
About 3:15.
Yeah.
And then we close until 7. The police will not let us open after the game.
Taking's good on the day?
Brilliant. Pay my wages anyhow.
As well as the official souvenir shops, there's also a lot of merchandise on sale at various stalls surrounding the stadium. But if they don't sell exactly what is to the club's liking, then they will fall foul of these two people, Larry and Andrea, and you're the sort of merchandise police, aren't you?
Rottweilers are also known as the Manchester United Rottweilers. Now we police the area to keep the counterfeit off the marketplace as much as possible, with a fair degree of success over the years.
And what sort of things, Andrea, are you on the lookout for?
Merchandise bearing anything with Manchester United registered trademark on, or anything that Manchester United own the copyright in, such as the club badge, the stick, man, MU, things like that.
Hello, Gary.
Hi, Eamonn.
How's business today?
Not too bad, bit early. Little early yet,
Yeah.
not many here.
I suppose it depends on these people, doesn't it? I mean, how business goes. Now, Larry was saying that you were sort of raided, for want of a better word, earlier in the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very new into this and I didn't understand the rules and the regulations, so I was a little green.
Yeah.
And obviously got caught out.
Well, people like Gary, I suppose, are easy to police. You know where his stall is. But I suppose you come across people who pull up with vans and things. They unload deck chairs and they start selling things straight away. But I'm sure they don't take kindly to you coming along and saying, "No, you can't do this."
They don't, and we have a plan of operation in conjunction with our backup team. We take the stuff off them straight away with the assistance of the police and or trading standard authorities. The bottom line is that this is where the people are getting ripped off, and that's not fair.
Only £1. Cheers. Only £1 each the cancer poster.
Okay, so you've come along to watch the match, but someone else is here today to watch you and everyone else in the ground. So, while you're watching them, he's watching you, and that's Stadium Safety Officer Arthur Roberts.
every seat in the stadium, all the tiers, are covered by closed-circuit television camera, colour and monochrome. So we can zoom in, we can rotate the cameras, and we can also record them. And we can also take static photographs as well.
All human life must be there. It must be a bit like a soap opera.
Yeah, it is, to be quite honest. It's often been described in many ways. We've been compared with a small town, because it really is. 55,500 people all together with all the problems that you would expect with those sort of people and the pressures. We've got shops here, we've got first aid rooms like hospitals, we've got roads, we've got streets, we have domestic disputes, we have fights, we have crimes committed. So yes, we do, we see everything here, warts and all.
There they are, some of the 55,000 people who will be here for today's match. The club can actually double that if there was the capacity, but there isn't. And that then falls to the role of the media, the press, the radio, the television, to spread the word, as it were. Ken Ramsden, you're the press officer here at the club. Who's going to be here?
Well, TV, of course. Every game we have Sky, BBC always have a camera. Our own people are here, videoing for others sometimes. National radio, local radio, radio from the opposing club are always here, and then we start on the written press. And of course we had a lot of interest from abroad. We've always been an international club, or we think we have, but since Cantona and then the Norwegian players, that brings its own interest and its own pressure.
I mean, is this Manchester United worldwide, literally?
Yeah, it is really. But I mean, at one game this season we had the Burton Times and a newspaper from Siam. Now, I mean, that is unbelievable.
Alors, il ne s'agirait pas dans ces mois de perdre les pédales, si vous me passez l'expression.
Evening news, get your evening news. Final scores, evening news.
The Manchester Evening News has only ever had 4 reporters in 100 years covering United. The latest is Stuart Matheson, and he knows his stuff. Well, usually.
This book now, it is absolutely amazing to see. Look at all this very precise graphs, charts, dots and dashes here and whatever. What exactly is this book?
Well, this is the appearances, the games, so I know exactly when somebody played, when somebody was booked, if I was given my man of the match, when I was suspended, injury, if I can fit an injury in to say, it's everything basically.
On a match day, what is the pressure on you to deliver a report?
Well, on a Saturday match day, I'm on the phone giving the teams over for the pink at 10 to 3. Then they ring me at 3:30 for the first half hour, so I'm generally on the phone till half time, and then about 10 minutes after half time I'm on the phone till the very end of the game, and it's just giving copy all the time.
Is there a sharing or pooling of information which goes on, which of course you can't do on television or radio because it's instant, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly, because I mean, if you are a writer, you can just pop your head down for a second to check something, and something's happened on the pitch that you've missed, so you've got to sort of listen.
Yeah. We did score that. Yes.
I remember when Wimbledon came here in the FA Cup, I said that Robbie Earl had scored their goal, and it wasn't. And I've got a bit of stick about that.
Maybe there will be 5 correspondents in 100 years.
Players come and go at the Theatre of Dreams, but one of the most famous faces down through the years has been this man, Ned Kelly. The one in Australia was an outlaw. This one's a law enforcer. And Ned, what exactly is your job here?
Well, basically on a match day, I'm the head of security here at Old Trafford. Basically, over the years, as the players been parking their cars in the car park, they've just been overwhelmed by supporters. So we come up with an idea where we put a barricade in there. The players can drive in, get out of their cars, and then quite freely go along and sign autographs for all the fans. Well, one of the crowd favourites here is David Beckham, and he takes a lot of time actually going around and doing as many autographs as he can, as did Eric when he was here.
Are things quieter today than they used to be?
It's not too bad. I think the big games here are the Liverpool, the Leeds, the West Ham when they come up here, Sheffield Wednesday for some unknown reason.
Giggsy, Ryan Giggs, hey. Nice car, Ryan. Now this is pop star status now, isn't it?
How many staff do you have under your control now?
I started off 8 years ago with 8 of myself, and we're up to over 300 now on a match day. So, you know, it's increased slightly.
Absolutely.
In reception, no player, no matter how famous, gets past Kath Phipps, who's worked here for 30 years.
Is it for months? Yeah. Around when you've done it.
Kath gets the players to autograph as many items as possible in an effort to reduce the 4 sackfuls of requests the postman delivers to her each week. But requests don't only come from the fans.
I need some autographs from your girlfriend.
Yeah, sure.
5 of them.
Yeah. They're away at the moment.
Yeah, but on a normal day in training, we get like 50 to 1,000 people there at the training ground, and I mean, you got to stop and sign for them, because that is part of your. They pay your wages at the end of the day.
I suppose you got to worry when they don't ask you to sign. That's the day you got to worry about it.
This is 3 weeks worth of sorry notes for signed footballs for charity requests. We get 80 to 100 letters a day. We just can't cope. These are still yet to be responded to for this week.
It's a terrible job because people think we're being awkward. And we have 20 to 30 balls signed a week, which the lads sign along with other things, other gifts. And I can't give everybody, when there's 180 a day coming in, you just can't please everybody. A lot of people are disappointed and think it's us being mean, but we're not.
This is the signed balls we've sent out, just for last month. It's just some cases touch your heart a little bit more than others.
Alice, can you arrange 3 tickets for the manager? Complimentary tickets in block 226. If you ask Linda to arrange them and to send them across to reception. Thank you. Bye.
That's the way to do it, because if you want to get your hands on one of these, you've got to know this man very, very well. This is Arthur Chubb, and I'm going to become very friendly with him because Arthur is in charge of, well, all the tickets here at Old Trafford, aren't you, Arthur?
I am indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What an operation. You must have so many friends.
Yes, and 1 or 2 enemies. We obviously sell to members for all the Premier League games on a postal ballot. And one of the downsides to the job is the number of regret letters that we send back to members.
Sure. What's your job involved now at this stage?
Well, at this stage, we're now just around 12 o'clock, and the players and the manager will just be arriving, and I have to respond to whatever request that they make.
The manager's just with me, and he wants to know, can you possibly fix him up with 2 comps for a lady called Jessie and have them brought over here? Okay, thanks, bye-bye.
Between 2 and 3 is where I get called out to the window to answer all the queries. If people's forgotten the books, if they've lost a ticket, you know, the ticket's been stolen.
And I'm sure that's not a one-off occurrence.
Well, you have to be careful because we do have a policy where we don't duplicate on a match day. And it's quite harsh, but it does, quite simply, it stops people fiddling. The old system that we used to have was abused. So we just quite simply just do not allow any duplications on a match day.
So if you've lost your ticket, it's hard luck then?
That's hard luck, yeah. Yeah.
You're a hard man.
Even lunch is work for the players. There'll be a lot of talk about tactics, but the formation they create on their plates is equally important. It could determine if United win or lose.
Would you have a hearty lunch, or what do you eat?
I think most of the lads eat bigly, mostly based on carbohydrates, a lot of spuds, potatoes, a lot of pasta, that kind of thing. And they just go up and take what they want. It's all advised, dietitian sets it out.
And what's the thinking behind that, Dennis? You can digest it easily, presumably?
Yeah, I think that's about it. And it gives you more energy as well for the match.
For the match.
It's about 3 hours away, and I think most teams have their pre-match meal about 3 hours before the game.
Is there a sort of in food at the moment?
Well, dietitian has advised that rice pudding seems to be the in thing here. Quite a few of the lads eat rice pudding. It seems to do the work, you know. So.
And does that leave you free for Saturday night then? I mean, you can go out and go to the Indian or the Chinese, or?
Well, everybody does their own thing on a Saturday night. The young lads will go out and have a few beers.
Do you not regard yourselves as the young lads anymore, Dennis?
No. That's the likes of Giggsy and Butty there. But I think the older lads go for a meal and have a couple of pints, and that'd be about it.
It's making me hungry, that. Do you know, you cannot buy a burger in the ground. Not inside the stadium, you can buy them outside the stadium. And do you know why? Because once the burger fryer went on fire, the smoke went out onto the pitch and it nearly resulted in the match being cancelled. But pies aplenty. Any flavour you want, practically. Excuse me, could I have a pie?
Yeah, dry.
What have you got?
Meat and potato, cheese and onion, steak and kidney, or Cornish pasty.
Right, what's your best seller?
Meat and potato.
That'll do me nicely, my friend. Apparently, 10,000 of these
are shifted, guzzled the game. Thanks very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Shh. If we could have your attention just for a few minutes. My name's Wilf McGuinness. I used to play here. I joined Manchester United in 1953. I made my debut when I was 17. I got a championship medal when I was 19 and a full England cap when I was 20. But my happiest moment came when I was 31 years of age and the great Matt Busby called me into his office. He said, "Will, son, I'm retiring, and you're to be the next manager of Manchester United." I was the youngest ever United manager and the only player to have ever managed the club. And even though we played in 7 semi-final games in an 18-month spell, we didn't win one of them. So Matt Busby called me into his office again. He said, "Wilf, I don't know what we'd do without you, but we're going to try."
So say I won the lottery and money was no object. What's the height of luxury available for a day out at Old Trafford?
Well, the height of luxury is a platinum club, which we formed this year, which is 80 people. You enter by the north stand, and you have a private lift which takes you to the second floor, where you're met by a young lady. You're given your gift. You sit down with vintage champagne, vintage wines, and you have canopies, and then the head waiter comes and takes your order, then he takes you upstairs and you have a 5-course meal, and the food is absolutely fantastic.
And hopefully a vintage performance on the pitch to top it all.
That's the nap on the card.
But no matter how well the team play, or indeed how badly, if they lose, it's always the fault of this man. Not this man in particular, but this man in general. This is Dermot Gallagher. He's one of the Premiership's top flight referees. He's the man in the middle today at Old Trafford. And I'm just trying to feel your skin here. How thick is it?
It's got thicker as the years have gone on.
Yeah. How long have you been a referee, Dermot?
18 years, but 7 years at this level,
Yeah.
which is really the big level.
Do you watch yourself back on the telly?
Never.
Come on, come on.
It's my only superstition. I never watch my games. It's horrible, because you watch a game and you think, I hope I give a free kick there, and the whistle goes. You think, well, if you haven't, what can you do?
What can you do?
Only upsetting myself.
They're only human. They're only human. Do you get nervous?
I think before the game you get apprehensive. I think nervous is the wrong word to use. You're conscious of your responsibilities, conscious of what you've got to do. But once a game starts, you actually lose that feeling because you're so involved, so focused on what you've got to do.
How stern are you? I mean, if I was just say I was a player, I know you could easily mistake me for a player, but you know, if I came up there and I'm saying referee, and I'm in your face like this. I mean, how stern would you be with me?
I'm a likeable kind of person, and people don't do that to me because I think, well, I don't want to treat Dermot like that.
And do you test your whistle before you go out, just make sure that's working?
Well, we have to toss it for the coin. It's a chance to test it then. You wouldn't want me to blow the whistle in here and knock your eardrum, is it?
Oh, absolutely. Have a good one today, Dermot. Lovely meeting you.
Due one.
Thanks very much indeed.
Right, let's get back to today's match. We've got full licence capacity. Attendance is 55,000 and a few hundred. Alcohol will be on sale, and the configuration where the visitors are is going to be just L stand and East stand upper, and the barrier is out together with the netting. Perimeter track duties, again at this stage we don't anticipate bringing any of the general stewards down. However, the search teams, once they come in from outside, will be deployed on the perimeter track. It's a fairly high profile game. Just make sure that everybody remains vigilant.
When it comes to match of the day tonight, when you switch on your telly and see the game, the pictures are by the BBC, the words are by John Champion. John, we've a couple of hours to go before kick off yet. Now, what is your routine at this stage?
Well, I've been building up to the game for the last couple of days, pouring through the old books and the stats. But today is the sort of business end of my week. And at this stage, I'm just thinking about the lineups of the two teams. I have a little idea in my mind from talking to the two managers as to what they're likely to be, but there are always last-minute injuries or people who have gone down ill overnight. But I find it's a great help to know the shape of the side and the personnel in your mind the night before the game.
Most of us know you, of course, from radio. You've made the transition, the transfer, as it were, now to television. Is that a difference with the job as well?
Yes, totally different. I don't think there's any reason why a decent radio commentator should necessarily be a good TV commentator. They're two totally different roles. I always feel that being on the telly is rather like having a straitjacket fitted to you, because on radio, description and flowery words are the be-all and end-all, but on television there's no place for those. The picture's there, and I think the role of a good television commentator is simply not really to be noticed too much and not to annoy the viewer too much.
And like the camera, to hop up well for the elements,
Yes.
This is obviously standard uniform with the BBC,
well,
we can see
I
here.
also apologise for not having a sheepskin. Most people are very disappointed when they say, well, where is Motty's sheepskin, you know, but I'm afraid this is rather boring by comparison.
Amongst John's audience for his preview on Grandstand's Football Focus are the very players he'll be commentating on later. Or maybe not, because neither he nor they as yet know what the final lineup will be. They must wait until the manager makes up his mind. And while he's pretty sure about his team, he has to hazard a guess about the opposition.
I just have to go over the detail of set pieces, that type of thing, and try to be as near to possible as pick their team, you know. And we basically know the system of play.
And who tells you that? I mean, do you watch them or do you have scouts?
No, we have maybe 8 scouts who'll do team reports.
And how long does that team talk take you?
25 minutes. Then when Michael starts to yawn, I know it's time. Peter and Billy, don't speak too long.
That's nice. Cool.
Yes, very nice.
Very
nice.
God. You're wondering what we're gawping at, aren't you? Yeah. Now, before you get the wrong idea, we're only doing what thousands and thousands of people do here at Old Trafford every match day. This is Brian Rose, and he's in charge of the players' car park. And they turn up. They turn up their droves.
Droves, yes.
Yeah. Does it ever cease to amaze you just how they pass 15 or 20 minutes?
Not really. I mean, they're not used to seeing. A lot of people are not used to seeing these cars, are they?
Yeah,
I'm used to it all the time, but these people are not, are they? So it's something for them to come and look at the players' cars. It passes the time before the game.
New red news, only £1.
United we stand, your brand new issue. Still only £1.
So you prepare all the kit on a Friday.
All the kit's on a Friday.
Yeah. And then you finalise it on Saturday.
Well, then I get a squad off the bus.
Yeah.
And then they have a team meeting, which they've just had.
Yeah.
And I lay the kit out there.
You do a marvellous job, you really do. Do you take anything in during the week or whatever? I could give you shirts and whatever. Now what?
You'd have to see the girls about that one.
I see all this includes, I mean, you've got socks, shorts, towel, underwear, this sort of thing. What about particular habits of players? Are there any superstitions in the dressing room?
Oh, there's loads of them.
Yeah?
Loads of superstitions. Teddy Sheringham always likes a fresh pair of socks every game, new pair of socks every game.
Nice and hygienic. You mean like brand new? Brand new out of the packet?
He likes them in the packet. He doesn't believe me if I say they're a new pair. He likes to
He
open
wants to
them.
see. He wants to, what's he do? Raffle them or something?
I think he's got a bit of a thing gone down in the smoke. Yeah.
He has a stall somewhere
I
that
think
he's
got
selling
one on
off.
Petticoat Lane or something.
Well, here, you go on ahead. Don't let me get in your way. Does any of this rub off on you?
Yeah. I don't like people coming in on a match day.
Oh, well, I'm off then. All right. Thanks for your time, Albert.
Okay.
Cheers. Oh, see, the boss can sit on the act as well, Albert.
He's one of the worst. Let's have a look in his pockets.
Let's see what's in here. All the equipment, all the extras. Oh, he doesn't get through 2 packets, does he?
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more per game. Oh, and wouldn't you know,
The essential. I think that means it's time for me to go. Sure, that's right. Perfect. Wouldn't know where we're here.
Anybody need tickets?
Now, most clubs have souvenir shops, and United are no different. Well, they are a bit different because they have the Matchday store. Then, being a somewhat bigger club than normal, we have the Superstore. But to top the lot, they've even got one that's absolutely... At busy times, it takes up to 3 warehouses this size to stock enough goods to supply each of those stores. And each year, some £30 million worth of souvenirs are sold from here to you. Now, I wonder where they keep those Captain Smiley toothbrushes. Must be somewhere... Ah, down, yes, there they are, yes. Every day is like Christmas in the Manchester United megastore. Just ask Jane Davis, she's in charge in here. Brushed off your feet?
Yes, I am,
Yeah.
Busy time.
Well and truly. This is pretty average here, is it, Jane?
Yes, about normal at this time, yeah.
Yeah.
They go to £16 there, thank you.
And what's the best seller at the minute? What's everybody after?
Well, as you can see, it's everything from hats and scarves this time of year. Doing very well on our own lines, on our sweatshirts. So.
And no shirts will be sweated in more so than those on the pitch. We all buy them, knowing it'll never be us, but dreaming it might be.
Next, please.
Hello.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Holmes, please.
H-O-M-E-S?
No, H-O-L. H-O-L-M-E-S.
Would you like to write it on there for me, please?
Right. H-O-L-M. Get it right, because it's very, very important for a big game.
Don't get them wrong. What number would you like?
Well, I think I'm a sort of 7 player.
Are you sure about that?
An hour and a half before kick-off, we're in the physio's room. Dave Fever here. Maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't feel too confident that the goalie's having his fingers aligned. Raymond, what's wrong with you, or what are you feeling here?
It's a little bit sore, that's all.
Yeah? What are you doing here, Dave?
We're just trying to basically get some movement in it and make sure it's, obviously it's working as it should do in the game. I mean, there's no problem with it. It's just to reassure the player that everything's all right, and he can use it as an only layman. So
it's like a battle scene in here. So it is. We've got the doctor. We've got David May having his feet done here. What are you? You're a chiropodist.
I am.
Yeah. And what? I mean, are you dealing with sort of mundane things like corns and ingrown toenails, or is it more elaborate than that?
Today, corns, ingrown toenails.
That's it.
Yeah, but normally. Yeah, he's never here. I'm on my way to referee a match now as we speak, so...
Is that right?
I am, so...
Yeah. And this is the doc. He's here with the supervising eye, yeah?
Absolutely.
Just over everything.
10 past.
It's all go.
Monday and Friday mornings.
David, when you run out onto that pitch there, what's in that bag? What's in that bag that you have?
But really, there's 2 sides to it. I mean, there's a routine side, which is there's tapes and strapping, scissors, Vaseline and things like that. And then you've got a more serious side, which you hope you're never going to use, but it's basically, effectively life-saving equipment to start with, and then you've got immobilisers for fractures, you've got some ankle collars for spinal injuries and so on. So that's the side you don't want to use, but it's there if it does happen. I mean, we've had to use it a couple of times in the 4 years I've been here.
Is he going to be fit for the kick-off? Is this all going to be okay?
He'll be fine.
Good. I'll not shake hands in case we damage the other one. All the best. Have a good game. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Get your ticket, please. Thank you.
All right. Can I
have it back. I want it back from your wedding ring. This is where all the directors are, all the VIPs, all the glitterati, the showbiz people and whatever. Now, normally it's chock-a-block full of people that you'd recognise, people off the telly, people from radio and whatever, but today it's all a bit quiet today, not a lot going on. Well, if you're going to be a policeman, what a beat to have. Divisional Commander, Senior Superintendent Alan Hutchings. This is your patch then, isn't it?
It is indeed, Eamonn, and quite a privilege as well.
Can you give me the location of a metal bridge with an anchor near it, over?
Well, today I've got quite a team, a variety of resources, some that you've seen, some that you haven't seen. All working together as a team. They've all got specific duties and responsibilities, and the horses do an absolutely fabulous job at football matches. They're great.
Well, they are amazing. I mean, look at the size of this beast here, for instance. Hello, yes, likes being on camera. A he or a she?
A he.
A he. What's his name?
Called Barkis.
Marcus.
Barkis.
Barkis. Barking mad, maybe, to be up there.
All
big,
our horses
big
in Greater Manchester are named after Dickens characters.
Yeah?
One horse is worth 10 officers on foot. They've got a great advantage of being high up. They can see what's happening, and there's no problem with the horses so long as you've got a really good supply of polo mints, because they just adore polo mints.
Do they?
Yeah.
Get your hot dogs now. Cheeseburgers, chicken burgers, get them all the hot now.
Face painting, show your colours, support your team in style.
Slowly on, United! Slowly on, United!
You do get their collar when you feel their
Come
collar,
through
as
here,
it
Adrian.
were.
Let me just show you.
Oh,
Let me
yes.
give you an example.
This
We
is
go
just
through this
imaginary now, but just say,
This way.
Alan felt my collar.
And you're booked in now,
Yeah.
and you're awaiting transportation.
No resistance
for
at all.
final charging at the
Yes.
police station.
Yeah.
You're put into this cage, and
Yeah.
the door is shut, nice and secure. And as you can see, we can put home fans or United fans in this cage, and we can put the visitors in this cage, or vice versa, whichever takes our fancy. And I can assure you this is very secure, and you won't get out in a hurry.
Excellent, Alan.
If you'll excuse me now, I've got some rounds to do.
Good.
So
Nice
I'll
meeting you.
catch up with you later.
Thank you very much indeed. So there you are. If someone does step out of line, there's literally no way out. Alan? Alan? It's nearly Sergeant Toft. Kick-off time. Hello? Superintendent? I'm innocent. Honestly.
£3, please. £4, £10, please.
12 minutes now before kick-off. This is Stuart Dalton. He's like a matador in the middle of the bull ring, aren't you?
That's me.
Yeah, now what's your job, Stuart?
Basically, my primary job is basically crowd safety. All the lads around the... This is called the bull ring.
Yeah.
It's all the lads in yellow jackets. Their main responsibility, well, our own responsibility, is to look after the crowd.
But also, as well as that, minutes before the kick-off, you escort the players down this tunnel then?
Yeah, I come out with the players basically because if I'm going to have a problem in the crowd and all that, surging forward, anything like this, it's going to happen as the players are walking past. We've got the ball boys coming out, Fred the Red and everything else. So, but as I say, it's get this clear just before kick-off, get basically everybody who shouldn't be here out of the place.
That includes us.
That includes you, I'm afraid.
I can take the hint, we're off.
You just listen, Roy, you go against Peacock, you just have to be careful, maybe Shearer come into there, and then you could go against Shearer, and that leaves Gary still to protect that part, all right?
Some ticket news for you. We've got tickets in right now being sold. Tickets have been sold for the following event, and of course sold out.
Come on, boys. Come on in. Hey, come on. Come on, keep going, man. Come on,
Some 55,000 people under the one roof, and this is what we're here for. While the players are playing on the pitch, their kids are playing in the Manchester United official creche. So let's see what's going on through the square window. Hello. Hello, who are you? Oh, you're kids as well, are you? No, you're not. This is Pam. And Pam runs the official creche in here.
I do indeed.
And whose little babies have we got?
Well,
your daddies all play football? Yeah?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, who have you got on your knee?
This is Lauren Irwin.
Lauren
and this is her little baby sister who's 2 weeks old today, and she is called Katie.
Bless her, bless her.
This very big grown-up girl is Cecilia Schmeichel.
Cecilia Schmeichel. And what do you want to be when you grow up, Cecilia Schmeichel? A nurse. That's
Oh
very
my.
good. Do you put sticking plasters on all your daddy's cuts and bruises?
No.
No. No. And
I
who do you...
don't like looking at them.
You don't, do you not? And who do you support?
United.
Oh, that's the right answer. Well
and
done.
Denmark.
And Denmark. That's it. Get it right. Get it right. Any help I can be, just let me know, Pam.
Lovely,
Good.
lovely.
Feeding Giggs. This ball was cold. This is Giggs. Brilliant.
We just scored a goal, and taking off the commentary tape, off the log tape, the goal as described by our commentator David Hooton, and it's going to be used at half-time in what we call our highlights tape. So what we do, we take off all the highlights of the first half, put them on a tape, and at half-time play the 2 or 3 minutes of the goal incidents, the near misses, and that sort of thing, and you've got a little segment which sort of illustrates exactly how United have done in the first half.
Excellent, Matt. And who will hear this, Matt, on 14:13 a.m?
Everybody who wants to switch on in the Greater Manchester area. Nobody inside the ground will hear it, except the people who are partially sighted and are actually sat in the blind stand.
But if I have a radio, I come in with my radio, I can tune in to you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right,
as long as you've got a personal radio with little headsets, you're away.
Well, listen, I'll not delay you in case we score again. Half-time's fast approaching. Away you go.
Cheers, Eamonn. Take care, mate.
Thanks, Matt.
Away for a goal kick. United coming away again.
That's a heck of a lens you've got on that. Can I have a look through that? Can I? That gets
You probably get better pictures than me.
warts and all, you see. Oh my word!
If we just touch on there.
It's amazing what you see through the. Oh, it's very frightening. So it does. And what? Where do I press the button?
Well, if we just touch on there, look through.
That's it. It focuses automatically.
Yeah.
What there? Right. Oh, I think it went twice there. It's very confusing, this. It's very expensive to develop, I suppose. Here, we'll leave it to you. Leave it in the hands of the pro.
All right, smashing.
Okay. Best seat in the house, this.
The referee has seen enough.
The BBC are here at Old Trafford today for Match of the Day. These vans form part of the mass amount of technology that's needed to bring the pictures into your home for the big game. It's just gone half-time, so let's see if we can have a word with the man who pushes the buttons.
All very straightforward here at Old Trafford. We've seen only one goal. It was scored after 18 minutes by a Welshman, Ryan Giggs, who started the move and finished it.
6 next.
Decisive cross on the right-hand side.
That's it.
take you back to that match.
Okay, that's the end of that.
And
is that your bit done, Alan?
That's my bit for half time. Then yeah, obviously we're covering the game. I'm going to send the goal down shortly for match of the day tonight.
This is Alan Griffiths. He's the director here. And how many cameras are you responsible
Well,
for?
we should have had 6 plus an analysis camera, but unfortunately the camera at the Stretford end has broken on us about half an hour to spare, so I'm bereft of that today.
Nightmare.
Well,
You've got the goal though. That's the
we've got the
important
goal on about 4 cameras out of our 5 or 6, so we've done okay. It would have been nice to have had that other angle, but these things happen sometimes.
Now, people always want to know, how do you get those replays in so quickly?
Well, you know where each camera is and what it should be doing, and so it's trying to have a little plan in your mind worked out beforehand. We've got 3 machines working next door for various angles, so it's my job to try and make sure the best angle gets in when it should.
If people only knew the half of it, what's involved to bring you match of the day? Eh?
They'd never believe it.
Well, have a good second half.
Thanks
Thank you
very much.
indeed.
Cheers.
Thank you. Safe to come in here now?
Excuse me,
Just about?
Not at all, not at all. It's all go.
It's all go. Here's Lester. Lester's the dressing room attendant. Any teacups hit the wall there, Lester, during that half-time talk?
Yeah, I think you can see one down there.
1 or 2. So they're back out on the pitch today. It's a pretty miserable day out there. What do you do now for the second half?
I'll just sweep up, top up the drinks and fill up the bath.
You don't get one of these in B&Q, Lester. What do you fill it with soap-wise? What do you put in next?
No, won't put anything in it.
No bubble bath then?
No, just leave it as it is.
Yeah, good bar of soap's as good as anything.
Yeah, as you say, they shower first, so they'll just more or less sit there and relax, you know.
Yeah, that's for the aches and pains and things.
Yeah, control there, so
Oh, yes. Do what you want to. How long does it take to fill?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, well, we'll leave you to it. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's only when you get access to an inner sanctum like the dressing room that you find out about the little tricks of the trade, the things that can turn a game. Bananas, no, I'm not talking them, the players eat them, 9 bunches of them per match. Good for energy. And this is the secret weapon apparently. 100 of these per match. Okay, 101. Oh, they're a messy lot in here, I have to say.
You're doing well there.
Am I? Got the job?
Yeah, you're right.
But it looks to you need some help in here.
Yeah, I won't complain.
Yeah, what's the difference, Lester, between the home dressing room and the visitors' dressing room?
Well, as you see, they haven't got a TV, and they've got to bring their own drinks.
Got to bring their own drinks as well. And when they get scrubbed down in here, where do you see this, actually? This is the business. They've all got a shower, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a shower. But maybe up to 15 grown men. And do you know what they soak in? 2 baths. I mean, come on. Yours at home, it must be bigger than that. I bet you that bus is pretty pongy on the way home.
Being part of a 55,000 crowd is difficult enough, doubly so if you've got special needs. The Manchester United Disabled Supporters Association, otherwise known as MUDSA, has an allocation of just 70 seats. Sad then that they have to watch very closely who's in them.
Demand is such, for a ticket anywhere in this ground, of course, that people will go to extraordinary lengths. And it's absolutely sick to realise that they take advantage of the disabled section. Now, what have you seen in your time?
Well, we've seen all sorts of things, really. People arrive in wheelchairs and for all intents and purposes you can't really discern what disability is at the time. Go out into the car park afterwards and there they are, lo and behold, hop, skip and a jump from the wheelchair into the car and they're off.
And do you have your own wee chants there and things? Is there a leader of you lot there? I mean, you know, each section of the ground there are...
It's me. You know,
That's why your throat's hoarse today.
And there's a lad next to me called Damien.
Yeah.
And he really gets behind.
Yeah.
And there's a lad to the right of me called Derek. But somebody else are a little bit quieter, some.
Yeah.
But I think they're the main 3.
And you're beside the visiting section?
We always are. We thought it was going to be a problem with that to start with. We thought we'd have all sorts of things coming at us. Well, it didn't turn out to be the case. we actually think it's probably not too bad where we are because we benefit from the atmosphere that's generated by the din they make.
Could you give me your location over?
Stand lower, third stage with over.
Right, thanks for that. It's November Charlie 511 out.
The volunteers of the St John's Ambulance are as much a part of football grounds as pies and programmes. But in today's game, where players cost millions of pounds, professional paramedics are on hand to protect the club's investment.
Surprised me there. You know what this is? This is what happens to you if you become all overcome during the game. This is one of a number of what are basically hospital beds scattered around the ground for people who take ill, or just the excitement becomes too much for them. It's quite comfortable, actually. There's not a lot happening on the pitch at the moment. I just have 40 winks.
People go to incredible lengths, travel incredible distances to see football here. If tickets are like gold dust, why is it then that so many start to leave so early? Do it at your peril though, because statistics prove that United are at their most lethal in the final 10 minutes. So, another win in the bag. Think what the manager would have looked like if we'd have lost. The action may have finished for some, but for others it's just begun. As the crowd makes its way home, all around the country, and indeed the world, people want to get that result, read about or see what's happened in the previous 90 minutes.
People think with photography you need a dark room. Well, all we need is a changing bag which is light tight, and we load all the films and put it in the tank, and then everything's done in the daylight, you know. Like I say, you've just got to be careful who's behind you while you've got your hands in it.
Alex Ferguson's with us now.
I usually have about 3 television interviews after the game. That's where the agony starts. You've got the Sky television, you've got the BBC, and a lot of Norwegian television now.
Got a quick makeover, Eamonn, while you're there.
Lovely. You make a great stylist.
There's a long way to go, and we've got to keep the concentration and focus on the club radio. Then I have to do the BBC radio, Piccadilly radio, GMR, Greater Manchester radio. And then I go to the press.
What are you deciding on now?
Well, I've just looked through my negs, and this seems to be the best one of Sheringham. That's a very good image of him and Beckham. Can you see there?
Yeah, I can see that. Excellent. Well, here you are, boss. The end of the game. Face the press now. But you have to very carefully think what you're going to say here in case it's interpreted the wrong way.
I just generally respond to the question that's asked, and you generally know the trend of the avenues that are going down, because they do get together and prepare what they're going to be asking.
And will they know if you don't like the questions? Will you get back to me?
Oh, soon let them know.
Alex wants honesty, that's all he asks for. But Alex can be abrasive, he's very intolerant, and if ever you get a journalist who writes something which is palpably untrue, then he can be really cutting. I mean, he can be, I mean, Alex in the temper is somebody to be avoided, and I'm sure the players will tell you that, apart from us lot, our industry.
Hey, nice picture, Albert, nice picture.
No, I mean, that's what it's about, you know. That's fine, doesn't it?
That looks good to me.
That's that in London now. So
Day's work done.
Hopefully, Monday morning's paper.
Well, great, it's been a real insight. Lovely meeting you. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.
Took a couple of pictures myself today, you know.
Really?
Haven't seen how they turned out, but took some anyway.
After a job well done, the players can relax in their special lounge with families, wives and girlfriends, although the demand for autographs never seems to stop. If they haven't yet turned their thoughts to the next match, others have.
I honestly think we should have been in for Ronaldo, but I don't make the selection. It's not me, it's Alex Ferguson and his staff that makes the selection.
OK, Mike and Hume, controversial comments. If you want to comment, 0161 288 11 2.
This is the bit nobody thinks about. This is Keith Kent. He's the head groundsman. Do you treat this as if it's your own wee back garden then?
Better than that. Well, see my back garden.
What have you to do straight after a match?
What we like to do is get all the divots put back, what the players have kicked out during the last 90 minutes. And this gives us a chance to assess it on a Sunday morning. We get a better view of it then.
Well, you had 4 seasons climate today. Yeah. You had rain, hail, sunshine. What sort of pounding does the pitch take on a day like today?
It was good for us because our lads like to play on it when it's wet and slick. So I think they'll have to say that today it was wet and slick.
Yeah. Looking at this at close range, now it's not often one gets on the hallowed turf like this, but that is like a snooker table, that is. Yeah, is there a regulation depth for the grass?
At the moment we're cutting at 1 inch high. Some grounds cut it at 1 inch, some grounds cut it a bit higher, all depending on what the manager likes and what their own players like. Obviously when the United go away, clubs try and doctor the pitch so it ain't as slick as this for them.
Oh, right.
But United are good enough to come over that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Keith, it's a credit to you. Well done.
Thank you, Eamonn.
Now, anything I can do, anything at all, I'm your man. I'm your man. Just, there we go.
You'll do for me.
That's a bit.
You'll do for me.
If you dread washing the kids' football kit, then spare a thought for Albert. Now here's a job you just wouldn't want.
They shouldn't be in there, should they?
Oh,
shin pads go in as well?
Shin pads go in here. The ones with the stock on go in here. I'll wash these tonight before I go home. Leave them drying overnight, and then I'll be packing them in the morning.
And do players have their names on those things? I mean, do you know who they belong to?
I know who they belong to, yeah.
Right.
Roy Keane's had them since he was 14.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Since he was 14, he won't use anything else.
Yeah, are they reinforced, those ones?
Sometimes I think so.
My mother wants to know, is there any particular washing powder you recommend?
That's a club secret between the girls, not me. We wash these on about 20 degrees.
That low, 20 degrees?
That low, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, then that preserves the names on the back and things like that. Yeah, you don't get all that sort of peeling. So only 20 degrees?
Yeah.
Well, that's the last one in.
Yeah.
That's all the reds together. How long does this take?
About 3/4 of an hour.
Let it go.
So on the second thing, off we go.
How often have you heard people saying, it was electric at Old Trafford today? I know this looks a bit like Frankenstein's lab in here. We're here in the bowels of the stadium, but it isn't Frankenstein's lab, it's Graham Thorpe's lab, and it's been your area, Graham, for how many years?
40 years now, Eamonn.
40 years.
40 years in a few months.
State of the art when we look around that pitch now, state of the art today.
Well, in 1957 when I came, when we had a 4-tower system which was 180 feet high, one had to literally stuff the lamp, you know, which was a huge animal, down your overalls and up you go, 180 feet. And you could see the tower, you know, moving like that. And certainly in bad weather, it got a little bit hairy.
I have to say that it is a wee bit emotional, it's a wee bit sad, because Graham has been working here for 40 years, but he retires. The end of this game, which we are filming now. Graham, from everybody at Old Trafford, thank you very much indeed. You'll be missed.
There we are, last time.
Well, that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed your tour around Old Trafford, home to perhaps the most famous football club in the world, Manchester United. And maybe you'll appreciate just a bit more what's involved in bringing you a game of football. We'll bring the curtain down there on the Theatre of Dreams.